For shelter, you should have a four-season tent, although experienced winter campers can also opt for a snow cave or an igloo if there's enough snowpack, or simply a bivy sack. If you're using a tent, place its doors at a right angle to the prevailing winds. You should have a four-season sleeping bag and an insulated pad. Wood fires are prohibited in winter, so you must have a self-contained camp stove. When you're choosing a campsite, keep a few other factors in mind. If your permit is for a designated campsite, you must dig out the pit toilet and use it. If your permit is for an undesignated site, you need to camp at least a half mile from the nearest campsite or other facility. Make sure you're at least 200 feet from any creeks or lakes and that you can't be seen or heard from roads, trails, or other campsites. If a pit toilet is not available, you should pack out human waste. However, if packing it out is not an option, you should dig a deep snow well at least 200 feet from any water source. Remember that camping is not allowed at cabins or other structures in Glacier. And only one camping party per night is allowed at any backcountry site, although a party can stay at a site up to 2 nights. Be aware that in the winter, every camping activity takes longer. That includes getting water. Even in the Glacier backcountry, it's a good idea to purify your water, and in the winter, the only surefire way to kill bacteria is to boil water for at least 3 minutes. That's because chemical treatments are ineffective at low temperatures, and water filters can freeze and become useless. Store your food carefully. Bears are still active in the late fall and early winter, and even in midwinter, they sometimes leave their dens. It's important not to allow your food to alter the behavior of bears or of other wild animals like birds and pine martens. That's why we recommend hanging anything with an odor, including food and trash. Use a rope to hang the container 10 feet above the ground and 4 feet away from the tree trunk. Also, be sure to pack out all your uneaten food and trash. In fact, you should minimize your impact any way you can. That means not damaging live trees and plants and avoiding areas where vegetation is emerging from the snow. It also means filling in snow caves, breaking up the snow you've camped on, and in general, leaving no trace of your visit. Remember that feeding wildlife is illegal. You should avoid even approaching wildlife because surviving winter is difficult for wild animals and any human contact adds stress. That includes contact with pets, which are not allowed anywhere in the park's backcountry. Of course, for your own sake, you should use extreme caution if you see signs of bears. On the other hand, if you're approached by a mountain lion, you should hold your ground and try to scare it away with rocks or sticks or anything at hand. Remember, the more you know, the safer you'll be. So before you set out, be sure you know how to avoid hypothermia, frostbite, and avalanche terrain. Know how to set up camp, how to purify water, how to dispose of waste, and how to store your food. Know how to protect wildlife and plant life. In winter, Glacier Park is nature in its purest form. Vast beauty, wildness, and powerful changes of mood. If you respect its power and protect its wildlife, if you tread lightly and leave no trace, then Glacier National Park will be even more enjoyable for you and for those who follow.